When you confuse people, you lose people. On a website, they won't act, they won't take the next step, and most likely they're going to leave. So how do you actually eliminate confusion? Well, today I'm going to share 5 practical and simple things you can do to eliminate confusion in your marketing copy. Eliminate hard to read words. No one wants to feel like they need a dictionary when they visit your website or read your copy. Here's an example. I could tell you, don't obfuscate your copy. Or I could simply say, don't make your copy hard to understand. I could also say, big words will make your copy inscrutable. Sounds pretty impressive, but what does it mean? The simpler and easier way to say it would be, big words make it impossible to understand your copy. How do you do this? When you're reading your copy, if you pause while reading something, give yourself a moment to consider whether there's a simpler or an easier way to say the word. Can the compound sentences. Using longer, complicated sentences might have earned you a better grade in school, but they're not going to earn you more customers. See, the longer the sentence, the harder the sentence is to read. It takes more brain power to process it and comprehend. So the harder it is to read, the less people are going to understand what you're saying, and the less people are going to actually take action. So what do you do instead? Use short sentences. Aim to keep those sentences at 25 words or less. Break one longer thought into multiple smaller thoughts. Be conversational. You don't even have to write a complete sentence anymore. In a conversational manner, we don't talk in complete sentences. And then finally, aim for a reading level of 9th grade or below. Jettison the jargon. Industry jargon isn't natural for people to say. For instance, in retail, the phrase omni-channel is really popular over the last few years. In manufacturing, a lot of people talk about operational excellence. If you imagine you're a marketing manufacturing manager and you're sitting around talking with people that you know in your family or the neighbors at a barbecue, are you actually going to be saying, in my business, man, we really need to achieve operational excellence? Probably not. What you're probably going to be talking about are your problems or things that you're working to achieve. So we need to get more shipments out on time. We need to reduce the number of errors that we're encountering in the manufacturing process. Those are the actual words. Yes, it may boil up in an industry level to operational excellence, but it ends up being vague and not as tangible for people. So how do you jettison the jargon? Ask yourself, what would you say if you couldn't use the words? What would you say if you couldn't say omni-channel marketing? Or what would you say if you couldn't say operational excellence? Keep asking those questions and you'll get down to the actual words and phrases and the conversation you would be having with somebody else. Use that in your copy. Avoid acronyms. Acronyms mean different things to different people in different companies and different industries. When I worked for one company, an SAR meeting stood for a meeting that we used to do in business presentations with the owner of the company. When I went to another company and they talked about the SAR meetings, I was like, well, how's that an SAR meeting? He doesn't own this company. And only to learn that meant it was a shareholder annual review meeting. Other ones that you may recognize would be an SOP. Is that a standard operating procedure or a statement of purpose? In some cases, BMW is a car. In another industry, it stands for the Billionaire Mastermind Workshop. So what do? Spell it out. Yes, it takes more characters and it takes a few more words, but you're never going to create confusion with your audience if you say what something means instead of relying on an acronym that only you or certain people may understand. Send the long paragraphs packing. Long paragraphs, when you see them, look like a lot of work, and on a mobile screen, it could fill up the entire screen. Think about your own experience for a moment. Kids' books have short paragraphs and short sentences. They're easy to read. College textbooks tend to have long paragraphs and long sentences. I don't know about you, but I always found those very hard to read. So what do you do instead? Give yourself permission to break free from the rules you learned in English class. The paragraph does not have to form a complete thought. Let the return key be your friend and keep this paragraphs to about 3 sentences. That's a good rule, and if you keep them short, they'll be a lot easier to read. I hope you're able to use some of these marketing tips today to eliminate confusion from your marketing copy and get more people inspired to take the next step in action on your website.